amazing, but we need money. We need fundraising, and fundraising also coupled with outreach. You can do so many fundraisers that get people involved. There's no reason why we shouldn't be doing a fundraiser every week, if not 24/7 online, selling maybe apparel, all that kind of stuff. The more we get ourselves out there, the more people see cars with Libertarian Party Florida, like he was saying earlier with commercials. I mean, we just need to get ourselves out there, and I think that we can couple it with fundraising all the time. And the more that gets done, the more we can do, and it'll just snowball from there.
I don't discount what you're saying about fundraising. However, I don't believe that fundraising is our necessary key to success. It's certainly a useful tool. Money's great. But I believe if you think about it, most people who came to Libertarian Party came to Libertarian Party by talking to somebody. We need to be on the streets. We need to be talking. What would I do specifically is, it's too big a job for one person to try and do. It really is. We would need to rely very heavily on our regional reps and get them out there trying to organize counties, attending events, that sort of thing. We have 3 directors at large that are completely unportfolioed. They can be helping in specifically difficult counties, or they can be going to specifically interesting events, you know, gun shows and that sort of thing. There's a lot of opportunities there to get out and talk to people. And of course, recruiting candidates is a big component of that, because our candidates, they hold the banner the highest and talk to the most. So we need to find as many good candidates and help them as possible.
Okay, given the allotted time, I'm afraid we don't have time for any additional questions. At this time, we will move on to the vote process, and just to explain how the vote works. We originally had planned to have a roll call vote, which was quite contentious. I think what we can do is I will call the candidate's name, and you will rise for the candidate of your choice, with the understanding that you can only rise once. And also, as in the case of any Libertarian election, none of the above is always an option. So the roll call will be in the order nominated. First, I will ask everyone who is voting for Charles to stand, then everyone who is voting for Dana to stand, and then everyone who is voting for Noda to stand. All right, so at this time, we will be...
Point of order.
Point of order.
Is this just whoever has the most votes wins, or do we need a clear majority?
We do not need a clear majority. This is whomever has the most votes wins. Okay? Excuse me. At this time, all voting for Charles Braden as LPF chair, please rise. Okay. At this time, please be seated. At this time, all voting for Dana Moxley Cummings, please rise. Are you rising as well?
Yes.
I count 28.
I counted 29. Maybe someone should count again. 26.
I'm not counting. Yeah, why don't we do this? For whatever reason, we're having a big problem with this.
20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
That's 2 confirmations on 31. Anyone else count 31? Okay. 31 it is. Please be seated. Noda, please rise. We have 5 Noda votes. 6 Noda votes. 6 Noda votes. Okay. And we're good with that? So at this time, do they confirm? All right, so the vote total is Charles Braden, 22 votes, Dana Moxley Cummings, 31 votes, and Noda 6. Dana Moxley Cummings has been elected chair of the LPF. All right, at this time we'll move on to the vice chair elections, and we will proceed in the same manner. Each candidate will be recognized for 2 minutes, and then we'll have a 5-minute period of question and answer from the delegates, in which one question will be asked and both candidates will be given a chance to respond. At this time, the chair will recognize Mike Kane. And Mike, if you'd like to come up and give a statement.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. First and foremost, thank you so much for making the trip out here today. It's not always fun to do this on Memorial Day weekend, but I'm happy everybody's here. My name is Mike Kane, and I'm seeking the LPF Vice Chair position. I've been active with the LP since 2007, and coincidentally became a dues-paying member on 420 in 2009, so 4 years at National. And since then, I've done fundraising actually for a nonprofit group, as well as fundraising for the State Party of Virginia. And before that, when I lived in Virginia, I ran for Virginia House of Delegates, which is the equivalent of the House of Representatives here in Florida. And I received 31.5% of the vote on a two-way race. I spent, the campaign, spent less than $2,000. And I think it's important to note that because it's not hard to do at least fairly well in two-way races on low dollar amount. I've held board positions for a county affiliate, and I'm also a member of the Libertarian National Credentials Committee. As an associate of the Libertarian Booster PAC, started by former Executive Wes Benedict, I recruited 10 candidates for state lower house in Virginia, and in addition to a gubernatorial candidate. And I did this in just 3 months. To aid in this process, to help me along, I enlisted the support of Bob Johnston from LP National. I'm sure many of you have spoken with him, and we have a good working relationship. Where I live currently, Key West, I'm starting a county affiliate, and Diane and I are in the process of getting the bylaws started. What we're doing is we're trying to get a good group of people together first, so therefore we don't have the prototypical chicken versus the egg problem with people showing up. I have quite a few goals as chair, but they're very simple. First, I believe we need to run more candidates, good candidates. We should focus on county affiliates, but not paper affiliates, but long-term viable county affiliates. And I also think it's important that the executive committee is as transparent as possible. My goal is to recruit 20 partisan libertarian candidates myself next year for office in the state of Florida. And I think it's also important that we get them up to speed and we tap into the national resources of national social media to help these candidates. Arvin Gore has done great work with the national Facebook page, and he has criteria, but just wrap up. Yeah. Okay. As I said before, there's zero value in having 3 people meet together to vote on meager expenditures. I'll have to skip this because he tells me there's not time. But some people may question if I'm able to work across ideological differences with people, and of course is the answer without a doubt. I really didn't like Bob Barr very much, but despite that, I stood in my petition for him anyways. To end, I think that it's so important that we stay true to our principles as libertarians. Therefore, we should take a principled approach to the issues. We aren't here to perfect the state, we're here to abolish it. Rather than promoting medical cannabis, I think we ought to promote the rational idea of self-ownership. Instead of the fair tax, we should be promoting no tax. Our rights, one second please, our rights don't come from some piece of paper written in the late 1700s, but our rights are inherent because we're individuals, human beings. Rather than talking about the Constitution, let's talk about the Constitution of no authority. This is about building a voluntary society free of force, fraud, and coercion. The disaster we now call the United States did not come about overnight, nor will it change overnight. As the great Sam Adams once said, it does not require a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen to set brush fires in people's minds. Please vote for me for Vice Chair. Thank you.
Okay, in an effort to keep things fair here, I'd like to recognize Alex Snicker. Alex, you will be granted 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you.
Point of order, not you.
I won't go over 2, don't worry about it, the 5 won't be necessary. You guys know me, I'm Alex Snicker for those of you that don't. I ran for office as a Libertarian candidate for the U.S. Senate in 2010 against Marco Rubio, God, I just want to forget his name anyway, Charlie Crist, and Kendrick Meek. I didn't win. The reason I didn't win wasn't because the people didn't like my message. It's because not enough people heard my message, or our message, I should say. I was going to do this as a candidate and allow the party to deal with the party business like this from before. I see that as a candidate, I will not be able to win unless we have an active affiliate in every county. I only have one promise to make to you, that I will take on the responsibility that we have an active Libertarian affiliate in every county in the state of Florida. That is what I promise that I will do. And how am I going to accomplish this? That was the question that was posed earlier. It will start with the regional representatives. It will start with holding those regional representatives accountable and giving them the tools for those county affiliates to get started. We did it in Region 2, and I'm proud to say that I'm the only regional representative that has full affiliation in every county. I've given you the proven track record to prove that I can get this done. I have the passion to get this done. And just like Charles said, where he's got a little girl, I got a little 5-year-old boy, and they're going to have to kill me to stop me from getting rid of this oppressive government. That's what they're going to have to do. I don't need a microphone or anything else like that. I will do the job needed to make sure we have an active affiliate in every county. I ask for your vote for Alex Snicker for Vice Chair.
Okay, and as a reminder, we will be doing this vote the same method, and NOTA will be an option as well. At this time, I think we could probably, Alex was short enough, we can probably go with a couple of questions. So if the delegates have any questions, please rise. No questions? All right, we'll move on to the vote. All in favor of Mike Kane for Vice Chair, please rise. I count 9.
I have 10.
10? Okay.
3, 4, 5.
John Wayne, you're standing for Mike King, correct? Your vote for Mike King?
Yeah.
Okay, you were walking out. I wasn't sure. Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I have 9.
Okay, 9 it is. Oh, you sat down? So 10.
Okay,
There's the
that
10.
was 10.
Okay. All right. Please be seated.
10.
All in favor of Alex Snicker for Vice Chair, please rise.
I have 45.
45.
Okay.
45. All those in favor of NOTA, please rise. And 2 NOTA votes. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
The count then becomes 67, and there's only 65 delegates.
That is correct. Was there anyone standing
I
that...
have 57.
What? No, we have 65 delegates.
Did I throw off the count by coming in 10
No.
minutes late?
I have 50.
I think you might have.
50,
Yeah.
It's 10, 45, and 2, that's 57.
57 votes out of 65 delegates.
No, yeah, 40, 45, 10, and 2. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's
Did I
57.
throw off
57,
the
okay.
delegate?
No, that's fine. We have 57 votes cast. Yeah, 57 votes cast. I was right there with your bad math, Carl. Don't worry about it. So,
That's why I'm the treasurer.
And with that, Alex Snicker is elected Vice Chair of the Libertarian Party. We're going to hold you to that. 57 affiliates. Keep them to that. All right. Next order of business is the at-large Rep 1 position, and we'll go through the same process. And the nominees for this position are Pete Bloom and Jared Capone. And at this time, Pete was nominated first, so Pete, yes. Actually, we've done 2 calls for nominations.
You have people who've lost, that could be nominated.
Oh, yes, at this time we will call for additional nominations from the floor. Are there any for at-large 1? Any nominations? Okay, no nominations. Pete, you're wait, Carl?
I nominate Charlotte Brandon.
Charlotte Brady? Okay. Charlotte, you've been nominated. Do you accept?
Yes.
Okay. Charlotte accepts the nomination. So at this time we have 3 candidates for at-large 1 position. And Pete, you are recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to follow the lead of our national chairman. I'm going to try to be offensive. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates and guests, I want to thank you for this opportunity to go ahead and speak with you at this convention at this wonderful hotel. The LPF has come a long way in the last 2 years. We're better organized and better focused than we have been at any time since I first registered with the party in 2004. The key question for you as delegates is, how can we keep this kind of momentum going? One way is to return me as at-large rep number 1. I've worked hard for the party in the far reaches of the northwest of this state. I've contacted many party members and members of the opposition about becoming libertarian. I've written many articles that have made it into publication that help spread the word about the libertarian message. I've made contacts in business and private associations and with lawmakers to go ahead and further the cause of liberty. Where I live, people have come to know the LPF is the choice for individual rights, free markets, and limited government. In this republic, which has clearly gone astray, I do what I can when I can to grow the LPF and help it take its rightful place as a political competitor that favors liberty. That pretty much means I do something for the party every single day. There's a lot of footwork involved in growing a political party, and I've done it, and I'll continue to do it. But it takes more than hard work. As a party, we have to seek results. In my home county, Okaloosa, we are at or close to the top in libertarian turnout in the past 2 elections of these, or at least since 2010, let me put it that way. The Northwest Florida Libertarian Party has become the nucleus of a growing libertarian voter population, and you can trust that I will do everything that I can to keep it growing. I was campaign manager for the Kalen Fretz for Congress campaign, and it made history by having the only libertarian candidate for Congress to make it on the ballot in the 1st District. We accomplished that by establishing a political organization where none existed before. We gathered enough petitions for a congressional campaign, something that our well-established Republican candidate could not do, and he ended up paying the fee. We are proud of our results in the Panhandle, and I want you to be proud of us too. There's always more to do, and I want to be part of making that happen. As a party, we can benefit from clarifying our message to make it real to the average person. We need to raise money. We need to figure out how to tap into the public desire for liberty and get them to help us. Lastly, we need to find candidates, not just find them, but groom them, train them, financially support them, so that they can bring the fight where it counts, serving as libertarians in government. The things needed to accomplish these goals is organization, and we are well on the way to achieving that. I know many of you support my opponents. Yes. I know many of you support my opponents. They are qualified men, and in many cases, the Libertarian Party is fortunate to have people like them. But I am the best candidate to go ahead and grow the party, especially in the North, which has so much proven libertarian potential. Return me as at-large rep and reinforce the success that we already have. Let's build the party and make things better for our children, our families, our friends, and neighbors. Thank you.
Okay, our next candidate for at-large 1 is Jared Grafoni. Jared, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Adrian mentioned, I'm Jared Grafoni. I'm the chairman of the Collier County affiliate. What we're talking about here, we're talking about election for at-large one. There's a difference between a region rep, which I currently serve as on the EC for Region 8, which is now Region 12. Region reps are focused on their region, their area. What can they do to improve candidates, campaigns, registration, etc. in their particular county. An at-large rep has a duty through the entire state to represent every Libertarian, whether they're in Jacksonville or if they're in Okaloosa, Collier County, or if they're in Monroe County, like Mike Kane. We need to represent all of these people. We need a record of success. I bring a record of success. I started the Collier County affiliate in 2011. If you were a resident here in 2011, prior to 2011 I should say, there was no Libertarian Party here. Now we have a bunch of extra registered voters now who are Libertarians. We have regular monthly meetings. We put this convention together. We ran a candidate, Peter Richter, in 2012. We had 300 and some odd registered Libertarians in the county. Actually in his particular, well actually in the full county, even less in his district. He ended up with 16,000 votes. I was his campaign co-manager. One other advantage that I have, I also am on the radio. I have Resistance Radio. I stream here, I'm actually on 98.9 here in Collier County, but also I stream all over the web. So I can get the message out across the state, and that's really what we need. We need someone. I also served as Gary Johnson's campaign co-director for the state of Florida. So I've had the experience of getting in the state of Florida, reaching out to people all over the state, and getting them to vote Libertarian, and that's what's most important. And we need to be a do as I say, not as I we cannot be a do as I say, not as I do party. So one thing that I can bring to the table is that if I say that I'm going to do something, I do it. And one of the greatest successes we've had here, and that I've had, is this one piece of paper right here. This is a Second Amendment resolution that I drafted that we got passed in Collier County Board of Commissioners, City of Marco Island, City of Naples, Lee County Board of Commissioners, and I believe it's been brought forth in other areas across the state. We can pass legislation, we can pass resolutions, we can do it. We need to emulate the success that we've had, and we need to make sure that every affiliate is aware of those successes. Whether you're up in Jacksonville or anywhere else, if you are having success as a Libertarian Party Collier affiliate, a county affiliate, I want to know about it, and I'll find out about it, and we'll make sure that we can get it done and emulate that success elsewhere. This is real Libertarian victory right here. And this is what we can do, and this is what I'll bring to the table as regional at-large one rep. Thank you very much.
And our third nominee is Charlotte.
It's like deja vu all over again. Actually, I had a few minutes to think about it, and I'm going to withdraw, and I would support Jared for this. He's done a lot of good work here. Collier speaks for itself. I would suggest everybody please vote for him. I think I'll spend some time dealing with the Manatee County things that I'm doing, and some more time spending with my little girl. Thank you.
Okay, and Charles is withdrawn, and Vicki, you're raising your hand for the question period, I take it?
Can I just make a very short statement?
Do you have a point of information or point of order?
Point of order?
If it's a legitimate point of order, yes.
When I was chair, and I was vice chair.
Speaking in favor of the candidates is not appropriate. Vicki, I'm sorry, you're out of order. Vicki, you're out of order. Please be seated. Vicki, you're out of order. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay. And my apologies, folks. Speaking on behalf of a candidate, that's not something that we said we're going to do, so I don't want to, set a precedent there. However, we will open at this time to a question and answer period. The candidates are Pete and Jared. And if you can address a question to both of them, we'll give it about 5 minutes to do a Q&A session. So please rise if you have a question for one of these candidates. Now, Vicki, at this time, if you'd like to ask a question, that would be appropriate.
Okay. Jared, is it not true that Charlotte and I were instrumental in getting Collier?
When the Collier County affiliate was started, Vicki, you were acting chair, and Charles was vice chair at the time. You did offer assistance, and I'm grateful for it. Charles came down to our first meeting, and Vicki came down to one of our next meetings, so yes.
Okay, any actual questions for the candidates? Yes, Lee, you're recognized.
For both candidates, because of the great distances that we have in our state from one tip to the other, how will you be able to support libertarians at great distance from you?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer the question. Being able to reach libertarians at a great distance, number one, it's a lot of electronic communication, emails, Facebook, everything, websites, things like that. We need to be able to reach out to each other. We need to have more participation on the Libertarian Party forum. We need to hear from the affiliates and from the region reps. The region reps' duty on the EC is to corral their region, fully affiliate their region, let us know what's going on. As an at-large rep, I want to know about every single success that we've had. I can reach people through the internet, through whatever. I can telephone people. I can travel. I also have a pretty free schedule, relatively speaking, for my job. But I also have the radio show, which reaches thousands and thousands of people. So in order to get that message out, I think that's the most effective way to do so. But of course, one of the most important things is actually being there. You need to go to these meetings. You need to go to Occupy meetings. You need to go to Tea Party meetings. We've been doing that here in Collier County, and I've been doing that for 2 years now, over 2 years. And that's why we've been able to have the success in Collier that we've had, because we reach out to people. They know we exist. If they have an issue with us or they want to join us, we're available. We're out there in the public. We go to all the meetings. The resolution that I mentioned earlier, the only reason that got passed was because we were able to effectively work with Republicans, Democrats, Second Amendment rights supporters, and anyone else who thought that federal overreach was either unconstitutional or inappropriate in that particular matter. So that's the way to do it.
Okay, Pete, you're recognized.
I agree with what Jared is saying about using electronic media, social media, to go ahead and contact people. I've been working on that. I have a personal email list of over 700 libertarians across the state that when I send out my messages, I make communications, I send it out to them. Now, that's just one part. I'm also on the phone. I believe much more in actually being there. You're not going to let people really know that there are libertarians there until you're actually there, you talk with them. I go and have lunch with people. I go to the county meetings, I go to the state meetings. If there are people who are possible donors, I go and talk with them. I establish appointments and I sit down, and I've done this a dozen times or more, where I actually sat down with potential donors. I tell them who we are and what we want. And I like to go ahead and get around. I wish I could do it more. I wish I was independently wealthy and I could just spend all my time in the car or on a plane going around the state and hitting people who I think are high potential people to help the Libertarian Party. Unfortunately, I'm pretty much limited to my car, but I make the best use of it that I can. During the Fretz campaign, there was no one. I got 33 people together to go ahead and help Kaylin Fretz, an absolute unknown. We managed to raise $15,000 in donations, which is another thing, too, about fundraising. And we got a campaign out that has made its mark. Our numbers weren't that high, relatively speaking. We hit about the average for what a Libertarian campaign does. However, everyone knows who Kaylin Fretz is now, and there's a lot more dissatisfaction with the incumbent, the 8-year or is it 10-year? The 10-year Republican incumbent than there is now. That was done by going out, meeting people, speaking with them one-on-one, and trying to get them to go ahead and join. You can't do that through a bunch of electrons on a pixel screen. You have to do it yourself, and I have been doing it for more than 2 years. Before I was even at large, I was doing this. And I'm going to continue to do it. I get better and better at it every year, and I highly encourage each one of you in this room to do the same thing. Get out in your districts and actually go and meet them and talk to them. Go to the Tea Parties. Go to the Rotary Club. Go to the Kiwanis. Go to the Boy Scouts. Doesn't matter. Go to all of them. Tell them who you are. Pick your pitch. Try and find the people who are supportive of liberty, and then get them on your side. It's a slow process, but it works. You get quality people. Thank you very much.
Okay. I don't think we have time for any further questions on those. Both those answers were tabbed alongside. But at this time, we will move on to the election, and same process. You guys should be familiar with it by now. And again, the candidates are Pete and Jared. Charles has withdrawn. And of course, NOTA is always an option. All right, at this time, everyone voting for Pete Bloom for at-large Rep 1, please rise. Okay, please be seated. Everyone voting for Jared Grafoni, please rise.
At 42.
Yep, I concur. Noda, please rise. So the total count is 11 for Pete Bloom, 42 for Jared Grafoni, and 5 for Noda. And Jared Grafoni is elected at large, position 1. Congratulations. All right, at this time, we will move on to the election of at-large Region 3, or at-large 3 representative. And I will accept nominations from the floor at this time. Dana.
I would nominate Pete Bloom.
Pete Bloom, okay. Pete, would you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Good, good. All right, further nominations from the floor? Okay, all right, that makes it a 3-way race in this case. Oh, I'm sorry, Carl, you're back in that blind spot I have. Either corner is a blind spot for me, I apologize.
I nominate Mike King.
Mike King, okay.
Does he accept?
Do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, the nominations don't require a second. Yeah. Further nominations? Okay, having heard none, we will move on to the candidate speech period, and we will go ahead and recognize each individual for 2 minutes, starting with Greg Lennon.
Hello all. I've been the chair of Citrus for years. I've been the secretary for a term and a half, at-large 3 for a half a term now, nominating committee for 2 terms, legislative review for 1 term. I've worked on the last version of the web page. I created the version of the newsletter which got turned over to the communications committee. I've assisted on this period's platform committee, and I run the talk shoe telephone communication meetings for the EC meetings and the committee meetings. I think what I've done for the EC pretty much speaks for itself in the last 4.5 years, and I would still like to remain your at-large 3 representative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. All right, at this time, we'll recognize David Hester. And you know you could have come up here, right?
Hello, everybody. I'm David Hester. I'm the current chair at Hillsborough County. I've been a registered Libertarian since 2004. And before I went to Hillsborough, I was the treasurer up in Pasco County for one time. Since I've been chair at Hillsborough County, we have been growing. We've been growing a lot. Our meetings, when I first started going there, were about 10 people each. Now we're up around 20, 25. We've increased our membership within the county, our number of registered Libertarians, and we're going to start increasing our fundraising. We're going to have a food truck rally, a Liberty food truck rally to raise some money, and Touch My Junk garage sale to raise some money as well. What I see as the director at large position is to help the regional reps and help the county affiliates to grow. And so I would be out there with the regional reps saying, what do you need to do? If you have to be at 2 different meetings at the same time and 2 different parts of your region, then I would help with that. I would say, look, call on me. I'll show up at one meeting while you show up at the other, and I can help with this and find out what they need, and also get the message from the affiliates up to the EC is what the affiliates need as well. So that's what I have to do. So vote for me, David Hester. Thank you.
All right, our next candidate, Pete Bloom. Pete, you're recognized.
Thank you. The only thing I'd like to add to my previous statements is that we're talking about getting results, and perhaps I didn't quite make it entirely clear how well we've been doing up in the northwestern part of this state. Okaloosa County came in #1 for Libertarian turnout in the entire state for Alex Snitker. We came in #2, I suspect, In 2012, in the Gary Johnson campaign, we've got our name out there. The surrounding counties around Okaloosa are all significantly above average. We're 2 standard deviations above, and from Escambia at least over to Holmes and Washington and Bay County, they are all 1 standard deviation above. So the rest of the state around here, you guys need to work on it. We're getting the vote out there, and we want to get out more. We're going to continue doing what we're doing. Being an LPF regional rep gives us the tools to go ahead and approach people, to go ahead and lever that into other things, and to go ahead and bring that knowledge to the EC and the rest of you of what's going right and what's going wrong. Another point too, we've been doing that consistently as well. Whenever we've had a campaign or some event that's gone on, we write hot washes about it. I hope you've been reading them. We say this is what we think went right and this is what we think went wrong so that everybody can learn from it. We've been doing that again for 4 or 5 years now. I invite you all to go ahead and read them. So please vote for me for at-large 3. It'll help the party. It'll help the Northwest, which is definitely a strong voting base for libertarians, and we're going to try and grow on that. Thank you very much.
Okay, and our next candidate is Mike Gate. Mike, you're recognized.
I gave a speech to you guys earlier, and pretty much everything that I said then is what I would just say now. So for the sake of time, I will just say that you guys already heard me once. Thanks.
Okay, at this time we will move on to the elections and we will call names in the order in which they were nominated. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, we do have a Q&A session, don't we? Yeah. All right, at this time, and candidates, especially since there's 4 candidates in the race, I urge everyone to answer briefly. And at this time we will take questions for the candidates. So delegates, please rise if you have a question for the candidates. Okay, looks like no questions. Very good. At this time, we